Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Sentinel. I'm here with Bed Comfy. And here we are live with our early prelim coverage of GGL 3 Mini Mars versus Fanter. So we are going to begin with our first match, which is two GGL first time competitors in Rain and Coffee. And so we are going to first start off with our picks and bans. So the way we do it here in GGL is that we have the ban phase in the pre-lobby, and that is so competitors get a fairer time in sort of the pick. So red side counter pick isn't as strong. I mean, you know how brutal it can be, that red side counter pick. So our first two bans are up on the board, and we have Senna and Lux. Very much indeed. And so we've already got a Pike ban, and then we see a Gwen ban come through. So for both these competitors, both support players, are taking quite a bit of damage off the table. There's some. It's a really good point, and we just got the Yone ban through, so the Yone ban, a very interesting pick, definitely a bit more on the unorthodox side, but still strong nonetheless. And lastly, we get the Aurelia ban. Yep. And so for these competitors, both of them primarily support players. We're just going to keep this ban screen up to prevent like any type of stream sniping until the picks are made. But it's definitely very telling. I think especially also as support players, I think the biggest thing you kind of have to wonder is that, as our number 5 ranked Java has said before, supports have really good macro, but their micro is not the best typically, which is what 1v1s thrive on. So I think you can definitely kind of see that reflected. You want a safer pick. But what do you think we might see from Coffee then? Yeah, I mean, from what we've seen from Rain, from some research, is that it's a primarily a support player. Um, was the support for Snack Bears Competitives. I know she is still the manager. I don't know if she's still the support, but definitely a lot of mid lane flex pick options. We've seen her participate with a what's the Ziggs. That's with a Ziggs before, and so I think those are definitely very real possibilities. And so as we see, it's going to be Vex versus Xerath. So Rain on the Vex, Coffee on the Xerath. And so this is a really interesting matchup. You got a nice long range matchup. Although Vex has some really strong gauge. So how do you think this one's going to kind of go, considering that Coffee has this really strong range, but Vex has a pretty strong engage? I see. I mean, you make a very strong point. And if if you're watching now, you can go to the GGC server, and right now, so the odds makers had Rain as the favorite, as a very slight favorite against Coffee, and some pretty even money coming in on the both of them. But yeah, so Rain is perceived to be the favorite, and I think you definitely highlighted it with that Vex pick, as well as I think experience is going to play a factor. Coffee, he can come make things happen, but sometimes experience, especially in something like a 1v1, can really show itself through. But you've made a lot of good points, and special shout out to one of our sponsors, Bet Buddy, the service we use over at the Golden Goose Casino for wagering. Create your own wagers in your own server with friends or strangers. And so special shout out to Eldon Held, the creator and owner of Bet Buddy. And thank you for sponsoring the GGL prelims. We're 10 seconds out. Absolutely couldn't have said it better myself. And we are ready to switch. So Dawnbringer Vex, Arcana Xerath. And so, out of the blue side, we have a support player making her GGL debut. We have Rain. And on the red side, we have another support player also making his GGL debut. We have Coffee. So, mirror match. Well, more not a mirror match, but a matchup of support players. And this is best of one. So, they're just going to have to leave it all out here. So, Xerath opting for a very aggressive amp tome, not going for a starting item at all. Definitely. Absolutely. And the big thing to note as well is that the first strike versus the electrocute. It is definitely going to be a big shift, as well as that. We talked about that range poke. So on the first strike, gonna try and get that poke out. Oh, already caught out by the Vex Sphere. Oh, electrocute proc. Definitely agree. And we're seeing kind of here already. Coffee taking quite a bit of damage and sort of being, I don't want to say zoned off this wave, but very much like kind of satiated by Vex. And, oh, there's the engage. Barrier gonna very very much so. And so having to spend this pot, no ignite or flash for Rain, and we're gonna see, oh, eats the Xerath Q. So already, definitely agree in this high kill situation. And the biggest thing to note is that Xerath has pretty decent mana sustain with his passive. But right now, this wave is going to crash, and we're going to see a back from Rain. Although, even on CS, slight lead for Coffee now. So, as of right now, if both of them can get a back off, then really, I think Coffee kind of wins this exchange. I mean, still has his flash up, getting very strong poke. Exactly. And no mana for Vex. So, definitely a very strong showing right now. And it seemingly seems like Coffee making very good use of biscuits, already cashed in 2 out of 3 of them, allowing it to stay in lane longer. So right now, currently the CS is 19-17 in favor of Rain's Vex. It definitely is getting very interesting. And right now, Vex seems to be taking the first back, which seems that Coffee will match it. And so 6 CS lead for Rain, and that ignite is coming up. Should be back within about 10 seconds or so. So pretty even game state. Still anyone's game. For sure. And already past the 30 mark. So a lost chapter buy for Coffee on the Xerath. And lost chapter, any mid laner will tell you that that is a very, very big item to get. Very strong component. You get the mana refund on the level up. And so definitely going to help him scale that big level 6 that you talked about. Absolutely. And as the Xerath hits level 6, Rain's also got to be very careful, because then if she gets in a tough position, then with the with the Arcane Barrage, it's gonna get a lot of poke from Coffee. And oh, there's the ult out. So Vex no ult, and that's a really big move right there. As now Rain kind of loses her big engage, and Coffee seems like he wants to start teeing off. It is absolutely. And this is especially interesting that as he's putting the pressure on, you can just tell the you brought up confidence. His comfort in lane is definitely just day and night right now. It very much is. And roughly about 70 gold earned from that first strike. So not really cashing out a lot of value because it is poke. Oh. Could be Rain definitely in very strong kill range. Less than 250 health. And this is also where that Lost Chapter coming in. Oh, big one right there. And he gets her. It's all over. Definitely. Very, very strong, very impressive. And we are gonna get our next match set up. And while we get that set up, apparently we have a technical issue, and so we will address that. So we will be back in about 2 to 3 minutes. But coming up next, we have Walkingdabs versus Xplosiv. So you don't want to miss that. We'll be back in 3. We're gonna make sure that is set up. Can all right speak?
Hello.
I believe we should have your audio now.
That's crazy. I was commentating the whole last
match. You actually
match.
had an amazing game 1. You actually did have an amazing game 1.
That is unfortunate. But hello. Even though he said I was here and I wasn't, unfortunately. My name is Bud Comfy. I am a co-commentator for this event. I had a pretty strong opinion on the first showing. Just to recap some of that, Coffee and Rain both had outstanding performances. That shift in, that dominance from Vex early game to Xerath being able to come back and win it late game. Both players, played really well. It was a really fun match to watch. And I'm definitely excited for what we have coming up next.
Yep. And So anybody that I know, some of you that are tuning in that have me, just send me anything if we can't hear Bed Comfy, although I believe we should. And so we should be set underway. We have Walkingdabs versus Xplosiv, and worry not, they are in select. So we do actually have the bands, which we are going to get up shortly. But first, we have the first two were Gwen and Maokai. So
That Gwen ban coming in twice.
it is definitely very and so yeah, it was definitely very interesting with Gwen coming through twice. And then we got a Gangplank ban, which Gangplank is a very strong comfort champ of Xplosiv. He is very much known for his Gangplank. And then there was a Heimerdinger ban on Red 2. And this was closed off with an Aatrox and Volibear ban. So what do you think of these bans, BC?
You know, I'm not too familiar with either players, but I can definitely see why champs like Heimerdinger, Gwen, and Gangplank get banned out here. Volibear and Aatrox are interesting picks for me. I don't think Aatrox has been particularly strong. Um, you know, and same thing with Volibear. I think those might have been a little more tailored picks, or maybe they were just random bans that they just wanted to throw out there. But the first four bands I can definitely reason with. The last two, I kind of need more context on those.
I see. So, I mean, from what we're expecting is that both of these are actually competitive players. So that is definitely a very big thing to note is that when they do show up, they come to play. So I think definitely the big thing that stands out with what their bans are is a lot of what they have experience with, if that makes sense. Sometimes you go into certain games and you face these champs. So I think that's what really influenced a lot of their bans is what is going to give them the best potential matchup.
Yeah, no, I do get that. And especially, what I do know about these two players, you know, Walkingdabs usually is always in the jungle. And, that Volibear, especially when you're in the jungle, just getting, picked out by it can be pretty tough. So maybe it's also about, past experiences and stuff too.
Absolutely. And you really couldn't be more right about that. So we are about to get into this game. And so with Mordekaiser, Nasus, definitely Nasus a late scaling pick. Whereas Mordekaiser can be a very early bully. So, how do you think this one plays out if you had to just give a pick? Mordekaiser versus Nasus.
Okay, seeing this immediately, I think about giving that to Mord. Both champs tend to do better later on in the game, but Mord definitely has that early game advantage in this scenario. Nasus isn't. They're not completely weak early game, but they definitely need.
definitely can agree. I definitely agree with that. So we will see how that one will play out. But right now we have on the blue side a jungle fighter making his GGL debut on Mordekaiser. We have Walkingdabs, and then his opponent SNC's top lane fighter making his GGL debut as well. We have Dr. Xplosiv, and kind of starting off with a bit of a sneaky E there. And so both of them kind of taking a recall. And we see a ward down that is Walkingdabs. His little friendly ward. Well, we'll see. He has, yeah, it is a friendly ward. He does not have any domination. Domination tree, as we've seen, you can take advantage of wards by having them expire, and then you get bonus AP off of Ghost Poro. And so, in the CS is still single digits. We have right now early engage, take a tower shot.
Ooh. See, it's those little abilities like that. That simple grab, get some damage off there. That's really going to help Mordekaiser early. But, that Nasus damage is actually coming in a lot stronger than I anticipated.
And very important thing to note is that only now is he starting Q. So he started W and E on Nasus, so he has not been stacking.
Something that I can definitely tell the difference between this game and the first game is how both of these players are comfortable with their champs. In the first game, it was kind of, one side dominated, but, already just three minutes into the match, we can see how I can feel how they're both comfortable playing their champs and how they're just, ready to flash ignite on the next person whenever they have the chance.
Absolutely. And so right there, that looked like these what's it called? Nice, these legendary animations for Nasus, but I definitely very much agree with you there. And right now, Walkingdabs trying to walk down.
Ooh.
So flash for ignite, and that's gonna be a pretty brutal trade. But he's got teleport.
I was just about to question that recall too. That was pretty close to the edge of the tower for my liking.
Definitely. He's got a 3 CS lead. So and as we check, both of them had a double Dorn Ring start. Big thing to note though is the sustainability on Nasus, because he's got lifesteal as his passive, just straight up lifesteal, but Dr. Xplosiv still also has the biscuit and the pot.
Seems like now they're fully going to be able to recall. And Mordekaiser's definitely going to be up on the CS here, but has that TP coming down. So now, at this point, they have no sums. And now Mordekaiser seems like they're going to back and try to do the same thing.
Definitely. And so, as we take a CS check, 27 to 26 is the number in favor of Walkingdabs, but Dr. Xplosiv gonna kind of swing the pace back. Seemingly has no interest in aggroing the tower. Big thing to note, this is an Arcane Comet Nasus. So really opting for damage over sort of maybe trying to get much out of Nasus' tankiness. How do you feel about that?
I definitely think it's a good option. We saw how impactful Arcane Comet was in the last match. Could be equally as impactful this match. Any little damage counts, and especially, with these two champs, I feel like that's just that something as small as Arcane Comet could be the big difference in damage, and as combined with Nasa's abilities can definitely put him on top. Mordekaiser is really good at collecting this CS though.
Definitely, it's the wave control for both of these. You can tell as you can definitely see their experience shining through, and they're so roughly even on CS. It seems that every back someone takes the lead again. And big thing note, level 6 up for both of them. So, as a reminder for those who may be unaware, so Mordekaiser's ultimate allows him to summon enemies to a death realm, in which he slowly siphons their health, and should he get a kill, he'll steal their abilities, although a kill here means a win. And for Nasus, his ult gives them increased strength. It gives them more health, makes them stronger. And so, really, you don't want to deal with either of those ultimates.
You know, they kind of balance each other out nicely.
Very true. See the ping on the ward there. And a lot of credit.
See, look at that Arcane Comet damage.
You're absolutely right. Definitely pulling through. And big thing to note as well is that Walkingdabs is handling this game very well, despite being primarily a jungle player. But
that's true. Not as much experience in lane, but is, you know, holding their own pretty well.
Absolutely. And so only really 7 CS separating the two of them. Oh, there's the wither coming through. Very oppressive ability. Right now, Xplosiv focusing on maxing E.
You know, just like I mentioned a couple minutes ago, they are very, very comfortable on this Nasus. Clearly knows what they're doing and trying to play the character, you know, using every little detail from all their abilities and trying to max out on their damage as much as they can. And, you know, it's these frequent recalls that I'm seeing too, making sure that they stay in the game, that as soon as they have enough gold, they're using it to the best of their abilities. You know, I think Nasus is playing this very strategically, very well, and that's ultimately giving them the upper hand in this match.
I definitely agree with you there. And so right now, Walkingdabs going to try and catch up. But 10 CS down, 53 to 63, both of them over that halfway mark. And 8 minutes in, so far, both of them playing very, very impressively. And so we're going to see the Lost Chapter and in the Fiendish Codex come out for Xplosiv on the Nasus. So really, like you said, trying to focus that damage. And so he's kind of hit a balance right now with this build, using the passive lifesteal, focusing on damage. But anybody that has faced Mordekaiser knows that Mordekaiser needs his opening. And this could be it. There's the Death Realm.
And there comes Nasus R2. Mordekaiser not really able to get that much more damage besides the initial hit and that R, but, you know, being able to take out that Nasus R is pretty big.
Definitely is pretty big. And we're going to see what he does with it. He's going to have roughly about 50% life lead. Oh!
Ooh, missed opportunity there. Definitely see what they were going for, but Nasus still isn't backing down.
Definitely.
So, but this is exactly the position Mordekaiser wants to be in. They know that so far they're losing on CS, that they need to make big plays, and those pokes is what's putting them back on the table. You know, we really got to focus on Nasus up on CS. Their farm has been very good, but Mordekaiser just needs to keep up that pressure and continue that damage, and it's anybody's game.
It is. And we're definitely seeing the effects of that Nasus E, because just with about 1 E, dropping so much health on Mordekaiser. And so this one's going to be close. Already only 15 CS away, well 16 from victory. And this CS gap, I think now might be too big to close. So Walkingdabs seems like he's going to need to kill.
You know, those sums aren't going to be able to come back in time. They kind of just have to get close, start poking, and, you know, pray for a miracle.
Very, very true.
10 CS to go. Nasus is looking pretty steady here, but they're going to go for a recall.
Here's the big thing to know. There's that unleashed teleport up, so the recall's gonna really help.
And that flash is up too.
It is. So double sums up for Dr. Xplosiv. And he's deciding to take it back now.
You know, Nasus did back, but they did not use that TP. Mordekaiser's going to have to hurry back to lane. I would hate to see this end on CS, but the wave is about to reset. Seems like they have, what was that, 6 more CS to go?
Yeah, which is going to put them at 99.
7 more CS to go.
Got to be very careful. This could be the perfect storm for Nasus.
97, 98, and 99. One more CS for Nasus takes the game.
He didn't.
Oh, no, they missed it.
Wow.
I did not expect that. Probably the most groundbreaking thing that's happened. Just teasing.
But taking a lot of damage off from the wave. He's going to have to fight now.
There comes that TP.
Crystal Scepter up. Crystal Scepter Dorn Ring for Walkingdabs. Landry's for Xplosiv.
And
Death Realm. They're gonna go. It's gonna get pulled under tower.
Oh, able to go back under tower.
Unless he can.
It's still in his hands, zoning him out from that CS very well. Oh, and this might be it right here.
Yes, and there it is. There's the E. There's the game.
There is the game. So unfortunately for Mordekaiser on this one, it had to end in CS, but what a match.
It is definitely quite a match. Big shout out to both of them. But Xplosiv gonna walk away with the win on that one. And definitely a very impressive win nonetheless, though. A lot of skill shown by both of them, really. A good skillful display by both of them.
No, I couldn't agree more. You know, coming in the jungle and choosing to take on a mid lane 1v1, it's not easy. And, they played very well, played Mordekaiser in, a way that, definitely I couldn't play him. So I think they did very well. Unfortunately, Nasus was able to get the upper hand there, especially with that CS. But, that's kind of Nasus's thing. So we kind of should have expected that there, but nonetheless, especially trying to go in early and doing that ignite that put Nasus off the table in the early game, and then realizing that the CS was getting close at the end and trying to all in, nothing but respect there. And just that skill from Nasus, we can see how Nasus dodged the abilities just by moving their character and using their abilities to get as much CS as possible, to scale as much as possible. That selection with the runes, I mean, you can see that very technical, and both of them just played their best. And unfortunately, just Nasus had the upper hand and was able to come out on top.
You know what? And I couldn't have really even said it better myself. I think you've definitely hit all the points, and as is the nature of any of this, I mean, both of them showed up, and unfortunately, someone is going to be a winner, and then someone's going to be, a loser. But really great games all around. Special thank you to Walkingdabs and Xplosiv. They both took this as newcomers, and we hope to see them both back. But as a recap, your winner for that game will be Xplosiv, and it seems as if we are gonna have to jump to our main card after this. So the next match that will be up will be number 5 Java versus Kai, and that one will be a best of 3. So we are gonna get those competitors ready, get them set up in here, and we will be right back very, very shortly. How does that sound, BC?
Sounds pretty good to me. I'm pretty excited for this first main card match, and after this break, we'll be sure to get right into it.
All right, we'll be right back. Um, we are we're back, and it seems that hello, welcome back. I'm sitting. I'm here with Bed Comfy BC.
Hello.
Seems that both of them are opting to not do any bans. And so it's going to lead to a very interesting kind of game. For context, it is going to be Snack Bears competitive Kai versus the number 5th ranked GGL contender Java. And what do you make of this, BC?
I think no bans is bold from both of them. Clearly, they just want to get in there and start throwing down. So, I'm pretty excited for this one.
It's definitely very interesting, and they both seem to already have an idea of what they want in terms of champ selection. And you know what? No bans is definitely a way to amp up the energy. I think that's a better way to look at it.
I have to agree, but honestly, another way to amp up the energy is through Dovey, the proud sponsor of this match. Dovey Energy, the GGC is happy to partner with Dovey. They are an energy drink mix looking to change the way you get energized. Utilizing a formula containing 10 amazing vitamins and nootropics, Dovey is a great source of clean energy without the fillers, maltodextrin, or other artificial colorings. This, along with their patented neurofactor and zero sugar, make Dubby the choice for those who want the performance boost and focus of energy drinks, but without the jitters and crash of traditional brands. Get yourself a Dubby tub today with promo code GGC10 to save 10% off your next order. Again, that is code GGC10 to save 10% off your entire order at Dubby Energy. We got some samples here the other day, and it was absolutely fantastic. Definitely go pick up a tub, and thank you, W Energy, for sponsoring this part of the GGC Fight Night or event thing. Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, yes, definitely. Thank you to Dubby, and it's definitely Spazad. I mean, I'm not even a caffeine drinker, and Dubby's definitely got some pretty good flavor. And like I said, take it from someone. I don't drink coffee, I don't drink caffeine, but you know what? I can go for some Dubby.
I agree. I am a huge caffeine drinker, whether it's that stuff that everyone gets from those chains or whether it's, that blue can with the thing that has wings on it. I always just go back to Dubby. Nothing really beats Dubby. And, I guess the best way to say it is when is it time? It's Dubby time. Dubby time all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And so, since both of these competitors have opted for no bans, the matchup is Senna versus Yone. That's the big thing. So, how do you feel about this one? This is a range versus melee matchup. And honestly, a very strong signature pick for both of these two.
This one is going to be interesting. I don't know. I think that Senna can be really, really powerful. But people who play Yone well. So I think it's really just going to come down to, what tactics they both use. And Yone just really has to make sure that they can, avoid Senna as much as possible early game until they can, scale a little bit and then just go all in on her. I think that's the best strategy that Yone can do.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. I think you really hit on the nose is that looking for those windows to engage. And we are in, and so In our main card, this match, best 2 out of 3, we have in the blue corner a support player holding a GGL record of 1 win, 2 losses. He is the number 5 ranked GGL contender. We have Java. And then out of the red corner, we have a flex player holding a competitive GGL record of 0 wins, 1 loss. We have Snack Bears competitive Kai. And so then as we go ahead and look at the starting items. So Adoran's shield start for Kai, definitely being very conscious of the damage Senna can do. And the Doran's
something
Blade.
that I do have to mention currently in the world, Java is ranked number 14 on their Senna.
That's immaculate. Dedicated Senna
Number
player.
14 in the world.
That's some dedication to your champ right there. When you're not only ranked in the world, but when you talk about like double digits, you are definitely elite in your own regard. So
In North America, which is the whole world. Because come on, NA number 1.
NA.
The GGC does not discriminate against any people or countries.
Very true. We don't. Everyone is always welcome to show up.
You know, NA number 1.
NA number 1. So both of them showing up mastery, and right now Java just stacking this wave right here. And I mean Java been climbing with Senna, so I suppose this is kind of what you is what you get when you kind of just have no bans, that you get people on their best. And we'll see though, because definitely Kai's Yone gave a very, very strong challenge to FF, who is our number 4 ranked contender. So no sleeping on this Yone. And
Yeah, no, for sure.
right now the CS count 8-4 in favor of Java. So far, good poke and pressure, but all this seems to be kind of just mitigating the damage well with the Doran shield.
Yeah, the Doran shield is definitely a good pick in this one. I don't know. This CS is gonna make me nervous. I mean, it's only 14-8 now, but we know how powerful Senna can be when trying to get CS, especially from a range. And you know, just being able to poke out Yone, I can't help but be nervous about what's gonna happen.
Absolutely. And both of them kind of very friendly. These are 2 of the nicest people you may ever meet. Spoken with both Kai and Java. They're both extremely nice. And that's kind of even the vibe we're getting from this match. Kind of a definitely a lighthearted start to what is hopefully going to be a very competitive what's it called? Main card. So it's always good. Everything has to be very serious all the time. And right now, the CS lead is 22-8. 23 in climbing. So what do you think is going to be the big key to victory for this Yone?
I was just about to say, I think the key victory to this Yone is exactly what just happened. Being able to get those pokes, take the advantages when they have the opportunity. You know, like I said, it's going to be very technical. I mean, Senna, of course, has that range. Senna will be able to get that CS. But when you find a gap like Yone just did right now, and you take advantage of it the same way they were able to, you can just create opportunities that will ultimately get you the win. A little showboating there, choosing to recall right in the middle of the wave.
Very, very true. And the thing to know is that Senna right now with 11 souls. So as those souls stack up, she does gain advantages from them. So something to be very wary of is you don't want to let Senna get too many souls right now at the 30 mark. And oh my god, just picking off Kai from the range.
You know, and the thing about this matchup too is how quickly it changes. You know, we were at 28 to like 9 CS, and Yone has just been climbing their way back up there. Especially after being able to poke Senna. So, it's really anyone's game. I mean, Senna clearly has the advantage here right now, but in the next couple of minutes, it can be a completely different situation. We just got to see how they play, what they buy, what tactics they use, and I think it's up in the air.
Absolutely. And
All right.
so we have right now the CS 34 to 27. And with the items back, so the serrated dirk for the Senna, meanwhile, just boots and a dagger for Yone. And we got to be very careful because what Java's going to want to do is in the fighter meetings that we have had with Java, he has definitely talked about not only if he were to get the Senna through, like his pressure, we've seen it in practice, but also to note is that he is very okay winning on CS. A lot of GGL competitors show up, say, I don't want to win on CS. I want to go. I want to finish my opponent, get the kill. But no, Java is just kind of like more so 1v1 purist in the sense that he'll take the win by CS no problem.
I think that's what contributes to Java's matches being so special too. Oh, there we go. Yone going in with the R, able to get some damage on Senna. Senna going back with the R2, gets hit by the tower. It's anyone's game right now. Oh, and Senna takes it at the end. That was close.
What an immaculate finish. In game one, Java finishes Kai 7 minutes in, 42 to 41 CS. What a strong game one.
Wow, that was unbelievable. That engage from Yone, like I said, being able to turn the tables at any point in the game, that R changed everything. They were able to get a lot of damage on Senna. Unfortunately, Senna had that small advantage in terms of the damage, but that all in from Yone was really good, and it could have gone anyone's way. It's wow. I have no other words for how that went. That was shocking.
It definitely was. And so we're gonna get them back because this is a best 2 out of 3. So what adjustments do you think would have to be made for Kai now that he is in the whole one game?
I think Kai needs to make a pick that has a stronger early game. If they do let that Senna go through again, I have no doubt that Java will just continue to play that. Like you said before, Java's focus is on winning, and I think that if Kai really wants to take Java down, what they need to do is make a pick that's strong, that they feel comfortable with, and something that can just get Senna out of their comfort zone. Try to push them back as much as possible, prevent that CSing, and just be able to try to minimize their risk as much as possible.
Absolutely. And so they seem to kind of both be opting for a run back of what just happened. And so what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, straight out of the gate, no bans again. Definitely a gentleman's wager. They just want to see who can, come out on top from the other one. I'm definitely going to be interested to see what these picks are. Like I said, I think Kai needs to pick something that is just, really strong early, almost like they just need to be able to all in and be able to completely end it. But I wouldn't be surprised if Java goes with another safe pick, maybe something range too. We'll just have to see when those picks do come through.
Absolutely. And so with both of them opting for a what's it called? Another also blind set. It kind of also is setting a very interesting precedent that you can kind of just come into GGL and really show your raw skill. I mean, because some people are not a fan of bans, but I mean, hey, this is just one of those matchups. You said it perfectly. A gentleman's agreement, a gentleman's fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And just with GGL and regardless of the experience that you're in, with league or anything, just being able to come in here, play your best, play a champ that you've been wanting to play and see where you kind of fall in the rankings. That's kind of the fun of it too. I mean, fortunately, even though Java and Kai are, some of the nicest people, they are also so competitive and they have a lot of strengths in their corners. So I mean, that's what makes it so special too. In the first game we saw picks that were familiar for both, and we saw how that turned out. And now when they kind of spice it up a bit, we're gonna see how they're able to take their competitiveness, but also just their love for the game, and see where their picks go and how they're gonna be able to use that to their advantage. A troll pick here might even be something that can easily secure the win. Kind of just throw someone off. And I'm really interested to see what they're thinking and how they change their play style based on going from picks that they were super comfortable with to now just trying to switch it up, make it different.
Absolutely, and I don't think I could have said it any better. So, what we see it is Caitlyn versus Talon, which is a very interesting matchup. Probably Python, who will be in the next match afterwards, will probably have a lot to say about this matchup. But this is going to be very interesting because ADCs, as we know, don't have a lot of health, a lot of resistance to damage. So this is kind of a almost a run back in a very weird way of a strong assassin type against a very sort of long range ADC.
Yeah, we expected a pick like this from Java, and I predicted, Kai went for something that has a lot of potential to all in early. I think Java's really going to have to take advantage of those traps, try to single Talon out, and also Talon really doesn't have a third ability in this match.
He really doesn't. Probably the biggest uses we may see out of it might be Talons can use it on tower, which could be a good way to sort of get a sneaky engage, go through the tower, and you can just kind of just get the edge of, because the river bush is allowed, you are allowed to use the river bush. It can be a very strong way for Talon to get that in that he needs. So just kind of hop the lip a bit. Although Caitlyn with barrier, which is going to be a strong option into this Talon. So, as a reminder for this one, in the blue corner, we have Java. And on the red side, we have Kai. In this series right now, Java leads 1-0. So, this one should definitely be very interesting.
One actual recall and one fake.
Seems like Kai was kind of baited by the recall into at least going all the way there.
Minions have spawned.
So we've got the longsword start for Kai, the Doran's blade start for Java, and already the two of them kind of feeling this one out, kind of feeling this matchup.
See, the gap that Caitlyn creates is pretty tough.
It absolutely is. It is a very, very tight gap.
You know, this just started, but already this is looking pretty one-dimensional.
I think that's a very strong way to describe this. I mean, Caitlyn is just can be a nightmare champ for a lot of characters. Just her range as well as headshot being an option, being able to just do that insane amount of damage. So Kai gonna have to respect the pick here, especially also because Java did opt for a precision resolve rune page. So, and brought barrier, so he kind of had a feeling that this kind of pick was coming.
You know, you are definitely right about that.
Well, the big change will be if Kai can get those 3 stacks to get the Talon Bleed on deck. Able to get 2 with the rake, but not really getting much off of that. And wow, that just insanely strong poke right there by Java.
Yeah, but Caitlyn can't get too comfortable here either. That's the thing about Talon, just being able to come out of nowhere and just destroy your health.
Absolutely.
You know, if Caitlyn oversteps just a little bit too far, this match could go the other way.
And there's the engagement.
And
Oh, away.
ooh,
Not gonna flash, but man, sent Kai to the hills there.
and these are also where these traps are so vital. You know, if Talon kept on that engage and got stuck in that trap, it would have been over.
Absolutely. And talent engage is just so important. I mean, any loyal viewers will definitely remember GGL 1 main event Python versus FF. Where Talon, kept getting stuffed by Gragas, and this is kind of, you're seeing shades of that right here, where these champs that can stop the Talon engage really just make this a brutal matchup.
That GGL one was a night to remember for sure.
And putting the traps near the turret, not allowing Kai any room. This is a very Java putting on a very suffocating performance right now, making sure that Kai doesn't have any room to work with. And I mean, this is why he's number 5. This is why he's got the number next to his name. And he's only ever faced other ranked opponents, so don't let the record fool you either. Java is definitely a formidable opponent.
All right, let's do a little recap on the CS. It's looking pretty bad for Talon, 37-8. How are we feeling about that?
That's a massive gap. I mean, we've seen sometimes gonna just eat the ult. We've seen some gaps in which 15 CS is too much of a gap, but talking like 32, that's a brutal gap.
Ooh, and that bait right there on that recall, that's gotta hurt. What?
Not choosing not to finish it. I mean,
The under tower play.
I think he's already so refined as is. He just really needs as much soak as possible. And Java with a bounty for such a dominating presence right now in lane has acquired 150 gold bounty, which I don't believe we've ever really seen here in GGL. Someone acquire a bounty.
That is a first. I don't know if anyone's ever gotten a bounty before.
But finally got the recall off, coming back with the serrated Dirk. and getting a gold check-in. We're gonna see a good chunk of change for Java up, and he's gonna come back with a noon quiver and boots and a control ward.
And the control ward. Not the control ward. Hey, and Talon got to 11 CS.
Did hope. See if he can hit 12.
As promised. As promised.
But seemingly Java looking to kind of end this one real soon. And from downtown, the old
Straight off the bat.
quarter of his health gone.
Oh, and there goes that all-in from Talon. Not able to get close enough.
But the bleed going off. And so right now, some just overall just brilliant lane presence by Java. 62 to 19 is the number. And so
Ooh.
definitely this, I think this could be one of the faster wins of Java's career. He's having a great night on the CS. Gonna hit 70 off of this wave. Oh no,
Nope, just missed it.
just missed it. 2 tower plays.
With the funny number, and the ult is coming up right now, and it could be the game. And oh
No.
man, that level up just in time.
Very interesting here. If Java wants to, this game is actually looking like this could be a tower win game.
Wow.
A very rare elusive tower win in GGL. But I mean, it's definitely possible. I mean, 2 plates down. If you can kind of just, I mean, dominate this wave, then there's definitely be something. Seemingly opting to take
And
a
there
look up.
comes that plead not to win on CS. Oh,
Oh.
that damage.
Got too
Oh,
close. The barrier.
oh.
Trading of sums, and this looks like this could be the end.
It
Oh. Java finishes at the 10-minute mark, finishes Kai.
A summoner has
And
Just in time.
77 to 24, the final CS count. Really just kind of brutal domination by Java. But that is why he is number 5. And I think we're going to get Java in here for a post-fight as we are now in the main card.
But right before that post fight, unfortunately, it is my time to depart. Thank you so much for inviting me for this, this experience. This was pretty cool seeing how the competitors came out swinging, seeing how these matches went. I'll definitely be back for sure. Again, shout out to our sponsors. We have W Energy, and we got a couple more coming up soon. But yeah, this was fun.
Thank you. Everyone give a hand for Bed Comfy. And maybe, who knows, one day we'll see you back here in the GGL in the ring.
Yes, for sure. Who knows? Maybe I'll be back sooner than you expect.
All right, we'll see. Well, thank you so much for BC, and we're gonna get Java in here for a post-match interview. We're gonna hold out. But for those who have missed it, to recap, we have Coffee defeating Rain, and then we had Xplosiv beating Walkingdabs on CS. Java just 2-0'd Kai. And so it has been a pretty interesting night. We've got Java here, and here he is. So,
Oh,
hello. 2-0. You 2-0'd Kai.
yeah. I gotta bust out the 2-0 after after getting stomped a few times these last few.
I mean, so what's you two had a gentleman's agreement, no bans. This is the most bans that we haven't seen in GGL.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was scouting before, and I have like this little note tab on what I wanted to ban. I wanted to ban like Yo, Nakali, and like Zed maybe, and then we get into champ select, and then Kai goes no bans, and I'm like, well, I can't just ban after that, so I matched him, and I was pretty happy with it. It seemed pretty fun playing a no ban GGL. We all got to play our mains. We got to play who we wanted.
I mean, normally there's like agreements with bans, but no, you were just like, we're doing it this way.
Yeah, it was pretty fun. Kai's definitely my favorite opponent I've had. Like the nicest person I fought. So great.
It is definitely great, and it is definitely great. I mean, you domination game number 2.
Oh yeah, the Caitlyn. It was a really rough matchup for him. The Caitlyn into the Talon. He just wasn't really able to farm. And the Caitlyn is like one of my most practiced 1v1 champions. I don't think I've lost with her in a GGL yet.
I
But
mean, doesn't seem so, and you have honestly put on some really just good performance overall. You're number 5. Who do you have for tonight's main event? You being number 5.
ooh, who am I rooting for in the main event?
Yeah, you got Minimars versus Fanter.
Ooh, I gotta root for my homie Aaron. Help me practice. Been my duo queue partner this whole time. But I am also really interested on what his opponent can do. There's a part of me that wants to see a really good championship match. I want to see a tough game, a tough championship series here.
Absolutely. And so you're number 5. You are just on the cusp of not making the rankings. Now you've improved to 2-2. What's next? You want to make a call out, or like what do you have in mind? Knowing that you're gonna get re-ranked.
I'm just trying to defend my title in top 5. Anyone who wants to come for me can come for me. I'll do rematches. I'll do first times. I'll do anything. Put me against anyone. Put me against Aaron again. I'll do it.
All right. Well,
I'll even rematch Kai. Kai just messaged me wanting for a rematch. I'll do it.
all right. Well, we know you're a gamer. We know you're competitive, and congrats on the win.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
give it up for Java. And so, with that, we make a very, very smooth transition into game number 2, which is gonna be Python versus Dioxxy in our very, very special co-main event of the night. And already we're getting the picks and bans if you haven't already. Place your wagers. But so far we have a Renekton and a Yone ban, which we are going to get on there. And so already with the Renekton and Yone kind of eliminating a lot of those fighter picks, and then it's going to be Yasuo, Darius. So already off the bat, we're kind of seeing this very strong emphasis on eliminating fighter champs out of the pool. But knowing these two, they have a lot of options up their sleeve. And if you're enjoying this, please don't forget to subscribe to the Golden Goose League YouTube. Follow us on Kick and stick around because this is only the co-main event. Tonight in our main event, number 1 ranked Minimars goes up against number 2 ranked Fanter for a GGL Gold. So you don't want to miss that. And as we finish up this picks and bans, this segment is brought to you by Deep Below Esports. Deep Below Esports, very a very gracious esports team for sponsoring us. They are running a $300 Rocket League tournament. Join, open to anyone. It is actually this upcoming weekend where anyone who enters has the chance to win $300 if you and your team of three can go and best everyone else. It is open to competitive and casual players alike, and it's definitely something you don't want to miss. Message Cujo, Cujo, on Discord if you're interested, or you can just look them up. Deep Below Esports, very gracious, very proud sponsors of the GGC and the GGL. So go show them some love. And then, so for those of you who may have tuned in now, here's a bit recap of what happened on the night. So in our opener, Coffee versus Rain, we had Coffee kill Rain to take their best of 1 series, and then we had Xplosiv versus Walkingdabs, in which Xplosiv defeated a very competitive Walkingdabs by CS. That one was a real close one. It is one of those, even though it finished on CS, you kind of know a competitive banger when you see it, and that was definitely one of those. So shout out to I'm gonna call Walkingdabs, I'm gonna call him WD. Shout out WD and to Xplosiv. Both very competitive. And then we just had Java versus Kai, who that one was definitely very exciting in its own right. Gentleman's agreement, no bans. And so we saw the first match, which was a Senna versus Yone, and then a Caitlyn versus Talon. And honestly, Java played very strong, very competitive game, and ultimately put on a very dominant win against Kai. And so now we are here, co-main event status. The number 3 ranked contender, Python, up against Dioxxy. Both of them 2-1, and both coming off of wins. With a win here, Dioxxy will most likely break into the top 5, but it is up to Python to try and really hold down the fort if he wants to defend his number. And so the matchup is Zed versus Nefiri. Nefiri, the new champ, activated for this event. And so I don't really know if there's what there is much more to say in that. It seems we are in for a very competitive match. Both of them assassins. Nefiri, very tricky, very strong. But Zed is Zed. He's a classic league champ. And so we're really going to see how they try and create these openings. As a reminder for those of you who are active in the GGC's betting lines, Dioxxy comes into this one as the moderate underdog, paying 140 on the coin, whereas you have Python, who comes in as a slight favorite, paying 80 back to 1 on the credit. And so right now the line is favoring Dioxxy, who is a very, very strong fan favorite. Has come out with wins over Oni and Alpha 8, but then you have Python, who won our inaugural main event against FF in what is really a match to remember. And then following that, suffered a loss, but to tonight's main eventer, Fanter. So nothing wrong with that. It was a competitive affair, but fell in that one. And then this all culminates to a win last during GGL 2 against Java. So if you don't know, now you know that these two are very competitive. They're as legit as it gets. And so we've got Conqueror on Zed and the Electrocute on Nefiri. And out of the blue side, we have an Assassin holding a competitive GGL record of 2 wins, 1 loss. He is the number 3 ranked GGL contender. We have Python. And then out of the red side, we have a top lane fighter holding a competitive GGL record, 2 wins, 1 loss. We have Dioxxy. And so both of them not wanting to play this close-up game. Pets and scratches for Nefiri, a stare down for Zed. We should be in for a banger. Double longsword start for both of them. Double longsword, triple pot. And so very, very interesting. And so both of them on beat. And already early poke trading. Nefiri was patch day 1. She came out the gate swinging. And already one of those pots used by Dioxxy. And so applying that pressure, got to be very careful because with the Electrocute, you can get a lot of damage, especially knowing that these two champs don't have the most health. So it's going to really be a challenge to see who can strike early and who can strike often. CS check both roughly even on CS. Right now Python with the early lead, but the wave seemingly favoring Dioxxy. Both of these champs also with very strong level 6s. Going to be something to definitely be on the lookout for. And so right now, CS check, 13-9 in favor of Dioxxy. Gets the engage, the Electrocute proc. Oh, gonna go in! And gonna eat a tower shot for it. Very, very slight advantage to Dioxxy there as he takes the level lead. But a lot of strength, a lot of pressure. Doesn't seem like he's gonna want to tower dive this, but the option is there. Oh, there it is! Engage ignite, and there it is! Zed with the clone, with the slash, with the Q, finishing Dioxxy in game number 1.
A summoner has disconnected.
And
A summoner has
we're going to have to get them in here. We're going to have to re-rack them for a game number 2. And honestly, that was very, very, very showing, and we just gotta get it back in there. These two are gonna run it back. This is a best of 3 series, so that is only going to be game number 1. And so we are going to get them back in here. And so as we got him in here, not opting to switch any sides. And worry not, as the board will update as the new bands come in. Already with a Darius, Yone, nothing new there. Don't worry, as like I said, the new bands will update with the software that we use. So just be patient and we will guide you through the bands. So we've got Renekton and Yasuo. So a lot of mirrored bands for Dioxxy, seemingly not wanting to change up. Feel very confident in the bands that he made. And even then, very similar for Python. Python right now opting for a Riven ban, whereas Dioxxy keeping it even from what he wanted originally. So we're just waiting software to get up. So that, to recap the bands, it is for blue side Darius, Renekton, Riven, and on the red side it is Yone, Yasuo, Ari. So we had that very close game number 1 where Assassins did essentially what Assassins do. A lot of early damage, a lot of strong kill pressure. And so coming up for game number 2, historically from Dioxxy, we've seen a lot of interesting picks like the Rumble or his Aatrox. A lot of the ones that are banned more so are recent bans, as we have seen his Yorick in play, which was banned out last game. But assuming there's plans in place, but it seems that we are ready to switch to the Gamecast. And so the picks are going to be Pantheon versus Teemo. Now, this is going to be a really strong comeback matchup for Dioxxy. I mean, Teemo is almost a champ that needs no introduction. Has a blind, very solid ramping over time damage with the poison. Or more so consistent damage with the poison. And then you have Python, who has seemingly opted for this Pantheon pick. One that he did, if I understand, play against FF Solution, did not go quite well. And so now we're going to see Pantheon again against Teemo. Definitely not an opponent you want. Teemo very strong in a lot of his own right. And so we're just going to have to sort of see how this one plays out. This segment of GGL 3 Mini Mars versus Fanter is brought to you by Deep Below Esports. We once again talked about their Rocket League tournament, which is of very, very great help to us. And so they're hosting their very first tournament. It is the RO Clash in the Aquadome. And so win a whopping $300. If you or anyone else knows how to play Rocket League, message _Cujo, CUJO, if you're interested, and check them out at Deep Below Esports. Very generous in helping with promote and acquire talent for the GGL. And if you're interested in participating too, on Kick, you can join the GGC Discord, or you can access our YouTube channel, which will also have a link to sign up for the GGL if you are interested. We welcome everyone. And so if you want to throw your hat in the ring, like everyone here is a competitor. Their game when they show up. So you want to be a part of that, sign up for the GGL today. We're 25 out from a matchup of the number 3 ranked Python against potential ranked hopeful Dioxxy. The matchup is Pantheon versus Teemo. And to recap the series, after a very electric game 1, Python is up in the series 1-0 as we go to Summoner's Rift. We are here on the blue side, the 2-1 number 3 ranked contender Python up against the very competitive Dioxxy. And this Teemo pick is definitely gonna be exciting. And so Teemo, just one of those champs that demands respect, demands space. Doesn't even know that he didn't start Q. But that's the dangerous thing with Teemo.
I am no more than a soldier, and no less.
Minions have spawned.
So inching his way closer.
I am no more than a soldier,
And both these two,
no less.
nerves of steel.
I am no more than a soldier, and no less.
Opting for precision builds, we have Dioxxy on the PTA, whereas Python has opted for the Conqueror build. And it seems very clear that the biggest key to victory for Python in this one's going to be is just getting either very strong non-blindable poke, or if you can just get a money engage. Whereas the keys to victory for Dioxxy here are going to be more so his own poke as well, but utilizing the blind to really kind of stuff the engages or the aggression of Pantheon. Dorn's Ring and Dorn's Shield. Respective builds, and there's the blind as Dioxxy hits level 2 first. Take a blind there. And Python wasting really no time. Trying to get the most of what he can. Opted for W next. And these blinds are really just chipping away, but Dioxxy gotta be careful as the wave is getting kind of aggressive. There's the engage W by Python. With the W, the trade ignites. Does a lot to nullify the damage of Dioxxy. Flash Q and finishes Dioxxy on Pantheon. Very early matches, very strong showings. And what a game. Final CS 12-10 as Python has defeated Dioxxy. We're going to try and get Dioxxy in here for, not Dioxxy, more so my bad, Python in here for a post-match interview. As soon as we can get a, wow, what a very, very strong showing. Early kills. And Python seemingly defending his number 3 spot. Well, did it again. You can't. You're the number 3 ranked GGL contender, and you successfully defended your spot against
Woo!
a very game Dioxxy. I mean, it was definitely a very game opponent.
Yeah, that was the poke on both games was kind of insane. I've only won against the Fury once, so I was not expecting that poke from her.
And then the Teemo matchup.
Yeah, both games I kind of had to play passively.
So I guess the big thing to say is that, I mean, you did that. You probably have, I have to run the numbers, you probably have the shortest average game time.
Really?
I would think so. You have a lot of short games. You have some long ones, but you have some short ones. But the numbers are all over the place. But you two definitely put on a very exciting performance,
Woo!
nonetheless. And so, what do you think you see now? Like I said, you're number 3. Fanter, your boy Fanter, is going to be in the championship match tonight.
Yep.
So
I'll watch him. I got you.
What do you think is next for you, though? What do you think more so? Let me present the situation. You've already faced Fanter. You came up short in that one. What if Mini Mars wins tonight? What do you think is next for you?
Have I faced against Mini Mars?
No, you want that title? If he is the champion?
Hey, I could try for it.
All right. And what if Fanter wins? What do you think you're going to want to do after that?
Ooh, I'm a little conflicted on that one. We'll see. We will see.
We'll see. All right. Any shout outs or call outs you want to get while we still have you on air right now?
I want to shout out obviously Fanter. Shout out to Coffee. I watched his game. That was a good game. Good game. Shout out to Christian. And shout out to my girl Lauren.
All right.
All right, yeah.
But all right, well, thank you, and we'll definitely we'll be excited what you do next. All right, everyone, give it up for Python. And so to get moving on, we are gonna prep with no breaks. We are gonna prep our next match. Recap. Mini Mars has opted to ban the Aurelia, Aatrox, and Yasuo. Fanter opting to say no to Malzahar, Annie, and Vigar. And so definitely should be an interesting one here. Both of them having very different sort of choices when it comes to champ select and what they prefer to play. But one thing is certain, both of them come to win. Both very, very competitive players. And so we're just going to have to see where this one goes. And so we have the Tristana pick and then a Fury pick. Tristana, a pick that Mini Mars has definitely talked about leading up to this matchup. He believes it is a very, very strong pick for him. Meanwhile, the Nefiri has been a pick that Fanter has been grinding out. Nefiri, a new champ, active for this event. Unfortunately, she is 0-1 right now in the GGL arena, but that could very well all change here with a strong showing by Fanter. And so for this one, if you're just tuning in now, to recap, our winners on the night: Coffee, Xplosiv, Java, and Python. And right now we have Mini Mars versus Fanter. This is the people on the marquee for tonight, the main event matchup. And this should definitely be a good one. If you're interested in getting involved with this, go check out the GGC Discord or the GGL sign up links that can be found on the YouTube, in the Discord, and you can find more about us on our kick panels. But now, as we approach main event territory, both these two 2-0 undefeated, coming off very strong, very impressive wins. But as it goes, the only person that's undefeated is Father Time. But one of these two is going to lose their O tonight. And now, who will be the betting odds have currently Mini Mars as a very, very strong favorite. Came in as odds makers had him as 0.50, so 0.50 credits for every 1 credit wagered. And so is definitely gonna be a very interesting one. Over 12,000 on the line for Mini Mars as we get into Summoner's Rift. Gonna pull up the screen capture. Sorry, there's a disconnect between the two clients. And we are in. So, in the blue side, we have a mage coming in with a competitive GGL record of 2 wins, no losses. He is the number 1 ranked GGL contender, Mini Mars. And out of the red corner, we have a top lane fighter coming in with a competitive GGL record of 2 wins, no losses. He is the number 2 ranked GGL contender. We have Fanter. And so we should be in for an excellent main event tonight. Already Tristana commanding a lot of space. The range versus melee matchup. So it's really just going to be one of those have to wait and see.
Minions have spawned.
So already early poke and electrocute proc from the Fury. And so we're going to see, we had a very similar early start with the match we just had, which was Python versus Dioxxy. What we're going to see though, because with this one, range is going to play definitely a big factor. And definitely Fanter very cognizant of what Tristana brings to the table with her range. Another electrocute proc, getting a lot of good bar damage done. Oh, there's an engage. And gonna get punished with, oh, yeah, that bomb is gonna punish pretty well. Gonna have to use that pop. Although, right now, Minimar's leading on the CS lead. Double Dorn Blade start for both of them. There is the engage for Fanter, the jump away from Minimars, but damage is damage. And so we're going to see right now with this, you got to be careful. Minimar's one of the better CSers in the league. So you're going to have to definitely be careful because with this range, they definitely start pulling this one away on the CS. First to level 4. And we're going to see how Fanter wants to approach this one. That's that Minimar's not letting the damage taken deter him at all, staying very consistent and aggressive with his CS, and really staying ahead, setting the pace very well of this match. Oh my god, another setup with the electrocute. And it seems Tristana gonna take a recall. No, the gold roughly equivalent for both these two. Now, definitely, if there's ever a chance to come back and catch up in CS, now's gonna be the time for Fanter. At least to try and make sure this gap does not widen, because as we've seen, large CS gaps can be especially brutal. So gonna opt to take a recall, not try and do ink damage to the turret. Gonna come back. So double longsword for both of them. However, Nefiri gonna bring the refillable. And so already you kind of seeing that Fanter's gonna look for some longer lane sustain, which I mean against Tristana already Minimar's encroaching on a 10 CS lead. So thought about this pick a lot, and you definitely just have to be very, very careful. The electrocute proc. The rune being very, very beneficial to Fanter and sort of keeping this one close. It's going to be roughly about a wave behind, but can catch up with a perfect wave here. Also, big thing to note, level 6 already active for Fanter's Nefiri. So, gonna have to be careful as that engage could be lethal. And Minimars with Tristan having no issue clearing the wave, keeping that gap alive, which is going to be very, very crucial if you want to pull off a CS victory. But now they're both level 6 that are going to be really good for nullifying Nefiri engage. And oh, gonna hold the wave. But Minimars says, no, I don't care about your freeze. I want to push. And so right now, 51, the CS number 4, Minimars Tristana, gonna take a recall here. Yep, takes a recall. And gonna come back with a Noon Quiver. Seemingly trying to rush to lane, uses the W to get closer. And we're gonna see, this could be a turret plate or Nefiri. And it will be, taking a very, very ever so slight CS lead. Gonna be in the blind spot for Minimars. And oh, just gonna get out, is gonna come back. So rated Dirk double longsword. Still has a biscuit of Everlasting Will. And right now, 63 to 53, that 10 CS gap for Minimars. Let's see, is he gonna up to use his E? Nope, just seemingly gonna just claim this plate without any abilities. Thirsty engage. Oh, to send Nefiri back. But at the cost of an ult, ult's still up for Fanter on this Nefiri. And making use out of the biscuit, out of the refillable. And oh, it gets the flash out. So ultimate lost for Minimars, loses his flash. Well, Fanter still has much of his resources available, although he's got to be mindful this CS lead. Gap always seems close until then you get to 99 to 95 and then it becomes near insurmountable. Second turret plate. And he's going to greed for a third. This one's going to potentially be close. Wow, going to just obliterate the wave. And there's a recurve bow for Minimars. Gotta be careful because the DPS now for that Tristana is insane. Fanter seemingly opting to not take a back, sitting on 700 gold, which would be enough to potentially buy another Serrated Dirk or a Caulfields. And 75% of the way there is Minimars from winning on CS. There's the engage, there's the electrocute. And Fanter trying to keep this one honest. Very close. This one's a very tense game. They're both very even in CS. There's the exhaust. There's the ult. The E. The R. The kill for Minimars.
A summoner has disconnected.
And that was a very close competitive game one. Minimars goes up 1-0 in the series. Final CS total 86 to 88. What a game one that it was gritty, it was close, it was very, very competitive. But this is a best of 3. Tristana versus Ezreal. A battle of ADCs. And it should be a very interesting, compelling matchup. CS is going to be tested here indefinitely. We're going to see who can better control this lane. No supports available. And for those of you tuning in, Mini Mars is up 1-0 in the series of this best 2 out of 3 to crown our inaugural GGL champion. We're going to use this time to give recognition to all our competitors. So personal shout outs to Coffee and Rain for their, for their very competitive, exciting opener. Then Walkingdabs and Xplosives for a very close and aggressive CS match. Then you have Java and Kai, who put on a gentleman's agreement of about no bans, mains coming out, and it was a bloodbath for Java. And then in the co-main event, Python and Dioxxy put their best foot forward, came out, showed up, and put honestly on a great showing. And now we are here with our main event, the number 1 ranked Mini Mars. 2-0 wins over the likes of Yessie and Java. Comes in, never losing a round. So far, 5 finishes via kill. Impeccable CS, very competitive in nature and skill against the number 2 ranked Fanter, who's coming off dominant wins over Dioxxy and Python. And he's looking to come up and win, an underdog going into this. We're going to see who walks away. Mini Mars up 1, Fanter trying to seemingly find a way out. This is GGL 3, Mini Mars versus Fanter. This is game number 2 for the GGL title.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift. Until minions spawn.
Out of the red side, we have out of the blue side, we have Mini Mars on this Tristana pick once again. Meanwhile, Fanter seemingly opting for this Ezreal pick that he is very comfortable on.
Minions have spawned.
Here they go trading. Right now, trying to trade CS right now, middle of the lane. And it's always very fun to see marksman style matchups. We've seen this before. Shout out to FF and Chaos for that one. And so far, both of them with a perfect first wave. And so right now, a lot of early trading, roughly very even on CS, slightly ahead for Mini Mars, who hits that level 3 first. And we're going to see PTA versus Conk. We're going to see some ping spiking for Fanter. And so already early engage for Mini Mars is Tristana. Distance flex there by Fanter. And right now, that E making good use out of that E for poking and just applying damage. This game was a Doran's Blade long sword start, and they are even on CS right now as they both hit the quarter mark. So Israel with the biscuits putting on a lot of damage out there and setting up Mini Mars in a position right now where he's about a quarter health. There's the disengage by Mini Mars. The CS lead ever so slightly in his favor of the number 1 contender. It's just a relatively passive CS affair. As Fanter's going to hit that level 6, he's going to be down 4 CS. And we're going to see recurve bow and boots by 4 Mini Mars, who decides to chase him and stop the recall. Very aggressive power move there. Putting that E on the tower. We're gonna get the first plate, and so this is kind of where Mini Mars is gonna try and break away from the pack. If it's not in CS this time, he's seemingly very much trying to do it with gold. And this is just very indicative of his very dominant approach to the game and to the lane. Already encroaching on taking that second turret plate. CS count already over the halfway mark for Mini Mars. Hitting 54 CS, meanwhile Fanter at 50 CS. But this gold, nearly 300 ahead in gold, which is the equivalent to about another dagger or so. And already going to approach. Not opting to greed towards the tower. right now. 67 to 56 as there's an engage by Mini Mars. He's got the CS lead. He's got a damage lead. A gold lead. He's got a series lead. And right now he's trying to lead himself to a victory. 68 to 60. Oh, yeah, to 60. As Mini Mars putting a lot of pressure and seemingly setting up for a finish on a 5-game kill streak. And seemingly trying to add Fanter's name to his list of victims. Three-quarters of the way there. He's got a CS lead. He's got to be very careful because his full combo is very, very deadly. The recurve bow, the Dorn's blade, the double longsword, the boots. There's the engage. Fanter very much holding to ult. Has enough mana for it, but doesn't really seem to have the ability to combo into it. Got the Caulfield's got the Sheen. And right now, Mini Mars 15 CS away from claiming a victory. Essence Reaver purchase for Ezreal. There it is. 10 CS to go. 8 CS to go. Gonna try and engage. 3 turret plates down. Oh, gets the Essence Plus proc. There's the exhaust going on. There's the ult. There's the kill. And Mini Mars is your inaugural GGL Champion, finishing Fanter by kill at the 11-minute mark, 92 to 83, the final CS count.
Summoner has disconnected.
And we are gonna get Mini Mars in here for a post-match interview. And so I'm here with Mini Mars, the GGL's first ever champion. How do you feel?
Feels good. Feels good. It was a good set of games. I wish my opponent didn't give up in the last game. It's kind of BM. They like threw away Iron Flash for no reason.
All right. Yeah.
But good game otherwise.
I mean, so talk us through that first game. You had never played against Nefiri. That one was pretty close.
Yeah, Nefari's Q does like so much damage over time. The poke was really good. Didn't really know how to deal with it at first. So I just played like 3 wave backs. Played it super safe.
All right. And then coming into game 2, you brought up the Tristana again, and it was into Ezreal. What were you going through? What were you thinking during that matchup?
I mean, I knew they didn't have like a champion who could counter Tristana, so I don't know why they didn't ban it. So when they didn't ban it, I just might as well pick it again. That's how I got all 3 of my wins is back to back on the same champ.
Back to back. You're on a 6-match, or more so on a 6-game kill streak.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the highest CS percentages. United champion. What do you want to say? What do you want to say to the rest of the division, the rest of the people looking on?
You know, there's a lot of great competitors. I'm really excited to see GGL grow over time. Honored to be the first champion. We're gonna be starting some VOD reviews. That's gonna be fun, and I'm just looking forward to see what we have going next. Shout out to Chronix for helping me scrimmage, and for I think he's gonna be number 2 soon on the GGL rankings.
I mean, we'll see what the committee decides over the weekend. But definitely came out, put on a very good, strong showing. And congratulations, everyone. Give it up for your first ever GGL Champion Mini Mars.
Thank you. Thank you.
And so with this, we wrap up the show. Thank you to everyone. Thank you to all our sponsors, W Energy, Bet Buddy, and Deep Below Esports for all their support. Thank you to everyone who tuned in and watched. I have been Sentinel. Thank you so much for everyone who constantly keeps supporting the GGL. As a recap on the night, Coffee, Xplosiv, Java, Python, and Mini Mars all walk away as winners tonight. Special shout out though to their opponents, Rain, Walkingdabs, Kai, Dioxxy, and Fanter. Thank you all for participating. We hope to have you back. But like I said, I've been Sentinel. This has been GGL3 Mini Mars versus Fanter. Thank you to everyone. If you want to get a part of the action, join the Discord, hop on the YouTube. There's also the sign up form. And we hope to see some of you. We hope to see all of you back here real soon. Thank you to everyone and have a good night.